This is a short demo in order to help you put together your rough floor plans if you are having difficulty figuring out just what to do. As the previous presentation spelled out, this is the north side of my room, and this is the south. It looks a little different today as I have a large green screen panel between my bed and the computer station so that you don't have to look at the unmade bed. But in this view, you can see the window dormer and the door just to the immediate left in this view over that dresser. The rough sketch of my room was done simply with a fine line marker on a sheet of 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. It was just a kind of rough outline and not drawn to any scale. As a matter of fact, the dormer is drawn out of proportion to the rest of the room, but that doesn't matter. This is just for taking the measurement notes. Now I used a different color of ink to draw out my note-taking lines. This is a good practice since it keeps your rough notes from getting mixed up with the drawing itself. That way, if you aren't doing your scale drawing right away, you won't get confused when it comes time to do it later. Now, the reason why I have this image up is because I thought that it might be a good idea to identify some interesting things about a measuring tape. They are all somewhat different, but the one thing that they tend to share in common is that the carpenter's scale has feet generally marked out with a black arrow with a particular foot is indicated just above the inch marker. In this case, 1 foot or 1F is just above 12. You'll see 2 feet or 2F just above the 24-inch marker. The other interesting thing denoted on a carpenter's tape is the location of wall studs. All buildings are constructed within code are set to have walls constructed always in the same fashion. The upright framing in a wall is usually set to 16 inches. So on a tape like this, you'll see 16-inch marks in red, just like 32, 48, 64, and so on, every 16 inches. This way, if you're hanging something heavy to your wall and you discover where a 2x4 stud is located, if you measure down the wall with a scale like this, you should be able to locate the next stud. Now, back to the rough diagram of the room. And with your note-taking lines clearly marked, I'm going to start by using the measurement taken at this corner as an example. The distance from this wall to the edge of the access doorway into my attic is 18 inches, but we don't write it down as 18 inches when taking our notes. This is 18 inches on a tape, but it is better to note this on our diagram as 1 foot 6 inches, and the reason for that will be very clear here in just a second when I turn on the overall diagram with the applied notes. Do you see the potential for a mistake in this group of notes? It's the measurement for the door leading into the room. Since all other measurements on this drawing are clearly marked with a dash separating the feet from the inches, someone might make the mistake and think that the door to my room is really 2 foot 8 inches, which would make it 32 inches instead of 28. Now, overall, that isn't a big thing unless someone's looking at my drawing and ordering a new door for my room, in which case they'd be wrong and they'd have to take it back. They might be also scratching their heads for a long time trying to figure out, after adding up all the feet and inches from the front wall in the room at 18 foot 6, why the middle wall of the upstairs is now wider at 18 foot 8 than the front. That's the reason why you put overall dimensions on a drawing wherever possible, like the wall line dimension just below where it says den. Always remember the axiom, measure twice, cut once. Always better to be sure because you can always cut down a piece of wood from something a bit larger, but you can't add on. All for now. Hope this helped. See you in the next video.